Hello and welcome to Conversations with Klana, inspirations for personal growth. And this show is for people longing for more joy, who want to live orgasmically and authentically from their heart. Me, that's Klana. I'm speaking with experts and interesting people of different fields to inspire you how to bring more love, joy, and peace into your life. And usually we are talking about love, self-love, connection, intimacy, relationship, body, mind, and spirit. I am a transformation catalyst, a multidimensional healer, a professionally trained life and leadership coach, and a certified sexological body worker. And today I'm welcoming Danni Lovefox. Welcome, Danni. I am giving you a little introduction as well. You are a certified somatic sexologist, a body worker, and a teacher of the tantric path. And you are weaving the magic of Tantra with trauma-informed embodiment coaching to assist people in experiencing themselves in new ways, connecting on a deeper level to their inner world, and uncovering what it is they really value in order to create and enjoy a lifestyle that embraces pleasure and presence as its basis. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's a good summary. Thanks, Anna, for the invitation. Nice to chat again.
Yeah, we did that already, exactly. So, what are we talking about today? What are you doing in these days?
Wow, in these days. Yeah, the days are long. I think everyone, well, actually, no, that's not true. Not everybody. Some people who are in quarantine find the days long, especially if you're at home a lot of the time. Yeah, it depends where you're based, what your situation is. Of course, I have also friends here who have not had the opportunity to take off time from work and actually are as overwhelmed as ever during time where perhaps they're more sensitive than they may normally be. I certainly know I've been very sensitive. Yeah, it's been interesting. I actually have felt like I've been in a kind of fog the last 3-4 weeks, probably ever since I got pulled off a bus on the border to Czech Republic with this thermometer gun drama against my head. And I think it kind of brought up a lot of quite deep themes that I haven't really had very clear, but certainly triggered quite a lot of feelings that I never expected to experience in this time.
Would you like to share the story?
I'm sorry?
Would you like to share the story?
Well, I mean, there's not much of a story about it, but this was just before Corona started. I had a Tantra teacher training workshop to go to in Czech Republic, and it was at that point not strange to travel. It was really just at the beginning. And this moment where we got pulled off the bus, normally they check your passports, right? And I was quite slow. I was the last person off the bus. I was playing with my phone, and suddenly it was this look I've never imagined to have in this lifetime of someone in full-on personal protective gear, you know, like it looked like something out of a movie, but it's not a movie, it's reality. And that's the kind of the original moment where it hit me that things were changing, that life was changing, and something I had never imagined to encounter was now standing in front of me, which was a dude with a thermometer gun pointed at my third eye, incidentally. And a bunch of long-range journalists with cameras, you know, taking pictures, because it was also a big news that this was happening there. It was the first day they did it. Yeah, and I had to leave the workshop 3 days early to make sure I could leave the country because they closed the borders. And it was something totally outside of what we're used to in our privileged Western society of kind of knowing what to expect. I suppose, yeah, since then, somehow I haven't known what to expect. And there was a lot of processes to go through, quite deep ones around, you know, the mortality of those around us, people we love, and starting to, well, also of our work, everybody who is working intimately with with other people is also quite limited right now. And if not, you're not working intimately, of course you have intimate connections that you will be missing on some level. So yeah, feeling into the value of all that, right? That's what's come through for me. I start to really value those things that used to be taken for granted. Nothing like a good crisis to wake people up to what's important, find our roots again, and feel into what we really care about. Imagine you've had something similar, Klana.
Yeah, so I enjoyed the first weeks. Wow, it was so amazing to just be on myself. And I listened to a lot of spiritual teachers and channelers, and I did journeys and meditations and things for myself. That was really amazing. So that was another big part, and it started already earlier, to find the back to myself, to my own truth, and to self-love. And this is why I felt so amazing, to be honest. That was really, really cool. And this is something that I want to teach people or show them when they work closer with me, how they can do that for themselves. And of course, everybody is different and needs to take a different route to that. Yeah, so for me, so far, it's a good experience. On the other hand, there are sometimes days which are not so good, and things pop up. And also let it name fear or anger, or the emotions that you don't like so much. Especially today, this morning, I had I'm doing a course, and I did the homework, and while writing that, anger came up. And anger is something that I am not really used to for myself. I'm more like a peaceful person. And that was really surprising. So I was so angry, and I'm sitting on my balcony, and I couldn't scream or shout or do anything, but that was what I felt. I immediately thought, where is it in my body? So it was here. And the only expression I could find was my pen on my paper really doing like this. It was interesting. So I just acknowledged the feeling that was there, and I let it through, and I even let some tears out, because that was a mixture of anger and sadness. And then it could dissolve, and that was good. It was really cool. So quite interesting times at the moment, like a roller coaster.
Yeah, literally a roller coaster. I mean, it's interesting, a few things that you said resonated with me. The first was, you know, how do we teach or guide people through processes when everyone is so different? That's something I've been reflecting on, because some days I wake up and I'm already feeling it's a heavy day. I know before I get out of bed that something in me is very ungrounded, very uncomfortable with being here. And for instance, for whatever reason, yesterday I woke up in a totally different energy. I was ready to go. I had full power. I felt clear. I felt present for the first time in weeks. And I suppose it's our job, doing the path that we do, to try as best we can to find what it is that creates those situations, to look more closely, like what is happening that's allowing these things, these changes to come. And it's not always clear. It's not always simple. For instance, I went to somatic experiencing, something I've been really enjoying exploring as a receiver. And I noticed the days before I had been so ungrounded. I didn't want to be in my body. I didn't want to be here. And I was distracting as best I could. Endless bags of crisps, bottles of wine, cheese, all the things that I indulge in when I know I'm feeling really, I'm not feeling safe to be present in this world. And yeah, I was really resistant to going there, but like you experienced, just a few minutes in and tears were coming and there was some kind of grief. And actually after like 3 minutes and my practitioner guided me to see where it came from, nothing came, so I don't know, but then everything was better. It was really just a 3-minute feeling of really grief, deep grief. And suddenly this joy, this presence, this wonderful feeling, I suppose, like what you had after your anger-gasm, anger release. I mean, it was really the most peaceful hour I had. She didn't really say much. I just sat there in my presence, in the comfort of being, and it was magical, a wonderful hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it, in the present. In your presence and in the present moment. I think there's the key. If we can manage to be more in the present moment than being in the past or in the future.
Or just not really present to the body, somewhere out there.
Yeah. And this comes more and more to me, what we've learned in our training to become body workers in which way ever, just to go back to your body. Where is it in your body? And feel your body. And as you said, be grounded, not always up there. That is also key.
Right, it's key, but the question is how. Right? I mean, as someone who has a history of flying out, it's been one of my specialties. One of the really beautiful things about my journey, and what I really appreciate about it, is that slowly but surely I'm actually finding those keys because I need them for myself. And the second I find one, I have a very happy client turning up. Also really looking for that, because of course there's nothing better than being present and in your body. Whatever comes, you will be able to deal with it, no problem. The question is how to get there, because it's not that simplistic. For instance, I've been out of my body partially for at least 3 weeks. And yesterday I woke up, bam, I was back in, and I knew it. Everything was simple. I was not interested to look at my phone. I was not interested to go on Facebook. I could sit with a bowl of soup in front of me and just be. No music, no distractions, just the pleasure of being and eating. And it was no thoughts, no stress, no interest in the news. Of course, I care about what's going on, but I don't need to ingest it every single day. It won't change the news if I listen to it or not, unfortunately. So, I took a salt bath. I did some very slow, deep yoga. And in that state, I can say that is bliss, that is ecstasy, there's nothing better than that. I took a lot of drugs in my life, but they haven't beaten that. It's pure and it's innocent and it's from deep within. And that feeling that I got last night, and I woke up still this morning in it, was that feeling. I would love to stay in this more often, but of course life is life and the journey is the journey, and I accept what it is. So
yes, that's true. But on the other hand, Danni, we have the tools and to remember what we can do when we are in an unpleasant moment. And that doesn't mean to push it away. I think it's very important to acknowledge all these emotions and let them through so that they can dissolve. And the more you do that, the more you practice it, the easier it gets to have more of those blissful situations. It's with everything, when you practice it more often, you have it more often, or it's more like a natural automatic being.
Yeah, and of course, life is not supposed to be one state. You wouldn't. It's a beautiful moment because it's not every moment. That's what makes it so special. If it was your everyday life, what would be the point? You know, someone said, what was it? The concept that if you were to live in a blacked out or white room your entire life, it would make no sense. It would be simple. It would be empty of reflections from other people, of stress with other people, of connection, but you wouldn't exist in a way. It's like, you know, that's the whole point that we're here for, is to relate. You know, that's what relating is. It's getting triggered. It's finding out who we are, because if you didn't have the other to trigger you, then you wouldn't fucking get very far. Oh, I mean, you would, but it would be, yeah, it would be somehow empty. You know, being human means going up, going down, going into anger, going into sadness. That's the kind of beauty of it all, right? I mean, not excessively. Obviously, there's tools you can use to make that an experience of the beauty way, as they say in shamanism. You know, you don't have to suffer. It's like there's different ways of approaching that roller coaster. And yeah, you want to keep it in a way that feels comfortable, and then you can really enjoy it, right?
Yeah. And that's what I think we are here for. We are here to enjoy our lives, to have a great experience here, and not to make our lives miserable.
Or constant, you know. That, yeah, I mean, constant bliss sounds great, but I'm happy to go in and out to explore these different ways of experiencing. Well, you know, that's where I get the richness of living on all these different levels. And also you can understand other people far better when you've been on different levels of experiencing, you know, when you've experienced the world from a place of peace, from a place of dissociation or spacing out, you know, you see how things are integrated. And, you know, there's so many different realities we're all holding. And as practitioners, it's really important we can connect with other people's realities that may not be the same as ours. So, you know, it's very nice to have a good background of exploring all kinds of experiences or intense emotions.
Yeah, and this is also part of our work. When we work with clients, we open up a menu of things that they can choose, that they might have not known before, that they can choose of, especially when it comes to sexuality. We often have one way, and we heard about other things, and then we already said, no, this is not for me. But there is so much in between that you can learn and experience, and with the support of a practitioner. And before we close that, what about you, Danni? So we are body worker. That means we used to work physically on people. But now in that situation, for instance, me, I'm working also online, and I realize that works really, really well. So the difference is just that I cannot touch people; they touch themselves, but the message is similar. How does that work for you? Are you also giving online sessions?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I wanted to build more online, but it's not quite ripe yet, shall we say. I mean, I do offer coaching online, but I can't say I've found a way to compare it to the in-person experience when it comes to things like body work. Coaching, sure. Leading somatic exercises, sure. But I will say I still very much miss the intensity of holding space energetically in the same room. However, I'm very curious how everybody is building this up. So I'm also opening my mind to what's possible. And the next weeks and months will tell how we will get creative about integrating this work into an online platform. And yeah, sure, I'm open to it, and I'm curious how it can work. In the meantime, though, much as I love all these online events and calls that we're all doing, I'm very interested in self-massage, which is something I've been doing in you know, in lieu of body work, giving or receiving. There's a lot you can do with your own body.
That is so true. It all, as I say, I really love to say it and repeat it. It always starts with yourself.
Yeah. And I really recommend that people try it out, you know, because you know what it feels like when you touch yourself. So actually exploring these points that are quite sore and just holding them. I mean, probably I'll write something on my website at some point about this, how to, I mean, you know, Klana, if you hit tension or points that are difficult, how to hold them and breathe into them. There's a certain way you can encourage release for your body. But yeah, in this time, why not? Great way to get in touch, get grounded. Good foot massage on yourself. Yeah, and I mean, if you have a partner you can work with or friends that you can make contact with, great, but you don't need to. There's plenty you can do with your own body, and your body will really thank you for it.
Definitely.
Yeah, really.
Danny, how can people reach out to you?
They can come on my website. It's www.snatch.land. Welcome to send me an email through there. Yeah, it'd be great to hear from them.
Cool. Thank you so much for talking with me today. And thank you, the listeners, who hopefully get something out of our chat.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invite, Klana. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's listened.
Bye-bye.